It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo at Hannaford. It's got twang.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
We're live on Facebook, X, and YouTube, and on the powerhouse that is KMOX Radio. All across the country, the home of the St. Louis Cardinals. With Chris Ranji in our downtown studios, producer Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd. I'm Tom Ackerman. Bernie Miklas is with us on a Tuesday. What's up, Bernie? How are you?
I'm doing great, doing better now that I'm with my three friends here on the Gashouse Gang.
My man, and we're going to head now to Orlando, Florida. That is the site of baseball's winter meetings, and rejoin Matt Pauley. How are you, Matt? What's the latest down there?
Yeah, you know what? Things are actually happening today. Kyle Schwarber back to the Phillies. Edwin Diaz going to go to the Dodgers. Old friend Steven Matz headed to the Tampa Bay Rays. Pete Alonso in the house meeting with the Baltimore Orioles and the Boston Red Sox. So let's go. Things are happening.
All right, mixing it up. Things are starting to move a little bit. I think we anticipated this. Day one, the full day, right, Matt? On Monday, everyone's just kind of getting together, chatting and all that stuff. Now we're starting to see some movement. Then the question, of course, is what's cooking on the Cardinals front? Anything right now?
Not that I can report. I'd love to say that things are happening, but so far it continues to be very slow right there. And it should be noted, everything that we just mentioned are all free agent moves. So in terms of trades happening, because I don't expect the Cardinals to be really active in free agency. I think they will be at some point after they subtract some of these players from the roster. They're going to probably backfill via free agency. Yesterday, Chaim Bloom was asked very specifically, does the team need to wait to be involved in free agency until after you move some players? He pushed back on that, and he said no, that they can still do things from a free agent perspective beforehand. That being said, I don't really think that's going to happen, and so until the trades start moving, it might be a little slow for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I would just echo what Matt Pauley said there by saying, like, I personally don't have a clock on Chaim Bloom to make some of these trades, because if you think about the number of players that, in effect, he has put on the table where they're available, and some of these players have intense interest from 12 teams, 15 teams or more, and that's a lot to sort through. It's a lot to sort through. So I don't. There's no reason why I would expect him to make any quick trades, and I think all of us should sort of have that feeling, because, boy, there's a lot of information he has to go through. He's got to compare all these offers and decide whether, well, no, I think we're going to pull this guy back and keep him. There's a lot of big decisions to make. They're not going to be done in 15 minutes.
Yeah, one of the things that really bugs me, and we saw Aaron Dodson send in a comment about this on the stream, saying Chaim is just eating prime rib and sitting by the pool, paid vacation. Yeah. Okay.
Aaron, you're gonna get blocked for that comment. You know what?
Yeah, can we just get rid of trolls? I don't mind dissenting opinions,
dude.
Can we just get rid of trolls?
Aaron, I gave you credit yesterday. Now you just earned yourself a temporary block until you behave. All right, back to you, Matt. Sorry about that.
There is literally, like, Rob Lowe, literally nothing different about a trade that is made on December 9th and a trade that's made probably as late as like January 25th. Like coming up on, once you're about to get to spring training, then things look a little bit different. But it doesn't matter. As long as the deals do get done, it does not matter if they happen today, tomorrow, or down the line. So the people out there who really think that, if it doesn't happen during this arbitrary 72 hours where they happen to schedule these 3 days of meetings, that's where I have a really hard time coming along for the ride.
So, Matt Pauley, I feel like we are supposed to be, and I think everybody is sort of in agreement, which doesn't make for very compelling discussion, because we're all in agreement that some patience is going to be necessary here. my contention has been for a long time that Cardinals fans are okay with that. They are on board with the idea of having some patience here if they know that on the other end of it, there's going to be some results. So should we be confident that there are going to be some positive results when this, whatever you want to call it, rebuild, retool, whatever, is completed?
Yes, I nothing's guaranteed, right? Like, I can't sit here and guarantee you anything, but just look at the state of things right now. You've got some key pieces, I think, already in place in Mason Wynn and Alec Burleson. You've got some really exciting players that are knocking on the door in J.J. Weatherholt, Quinn Matthews, Liam Doyle. I can mention others. You have the pieces that can start to put together a team that can be very good and competing at a high level. Do you need more than that? Obviously, you need more than that, and that's where adding talent via these moves that they're going to make are going to pay off, and that's why when we talk about expectations for 2026, we're not putting high expectations on this team. Us externally, I think internally, you go talk to Oliver Marmol, he's not going to back off his expectations for the team. You have to do that as a manager. But I think it's, as long as you're smart and making good decisions, you're not going to hit on every player, but you're going to hit on a bunch of them, and that's what Bloom and company are trying to do right now.
Yeah, give us the Ollie Marmol perspective here a little bit more, if you would. So we know that he's aligned with Chaim Bloom. What does Ollie want in terms of personnel? How does he align with Bloom? We've heard a lot of Chaim here on KMOX since the start of this offseason. What's Ollie have to say?
Yeah, I think Ollie is echoing much of what Chaim has to say, that they are a team that is not going to concede anything, but when they've got an opportunity to make a move that could either impact the long term or impact the short term, that they're going to go with the long term. So exactly what I have not heard anything from Ollie that is different from what Chaim has said. I think the only kind of small thing is I think Ollie digs in a little bit more on the idea of not conceding anything for this season, keeping expectations high, and going into a year where they're not going to put limitations on themselves, even if the outside world puts limitations on them. But at the same time, the four of us can sit here and say, the roster is what the roster is. The Cardinals didn't win enough games this past season because the roster wasn't good enough. The Cardinals didn't win enough games 2 seasons ago because the roster wasn't good enough. I would contend Oliver Marmol, if anything, has actually helped the team win more games than they should. He knows that. He's aware of that. But from a public standpoint, he's never going to even give an inch of, okay, well, maybe this season isn't going to be as good.
And I think that's why Bloom, by all indications, wants to retain Ollie beyond 2026. Read Ben Hockman's column today at Post-Dispatch STL today, because he's had a chance to observe Ollie Marmol for 2 years. He's had a chance to get to know him for 2 years. He's had a chance to assess whether Ollie Marmol fits into a rebuild as the manager, and Ollie Marmol clearly does. Because you know what fitting into a rebuild means if you're the manager? It means that you understand what's happening, you agree with the approach, you believe that your general manager is really, really smart and is going to do things wisely, and it's going to take some time, so you remain patient, and eventually things will turn over and turn in a positive direction. If you have a manager at the start of a rebuild and the manager's blowing a gasket every time, you lose 4 in a row. Well, why don't we go get this guy? Why don't we do that guy? I don't understand this, blah, 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 blah. The rebuild would be an absolute disaster, and it would actually be set back because the manager and the president of baseball operations are not in alignment, and they're not philosophically locked together on the way this has to go. So there would be no reason to have Ollie Marmol as the manager if he's part of the plan, because Chaim Bloom sees that he's a really good fit for what this mission is to rebuild, and he is.
Let me give this question, or throw this out there. I wonder what happens if they reach a situation like, and I'm thinking of the Cubs here, because they had Rick Renteria as their manager in 2015, 2014, 15. and they were starting to really have a bit of a turnaround, and you could tell they were going to become a good team, and they eventually won in 2016. And instead of sticking with Renteria, they went with Joe Madden because that was the hottest name available. And I know this is down the road, but does it seem like the Cardinals would be willing to stick with Marmol once they've gone through this rebuild process? They have the roster the way they think they want it to be. Do you think they end up sticking with him, or is it impossible to know that right now?
Well, if I could go first, Renteria managed the Cubs in 2014. They brought Madden in 2015.
Yep.
And then the rest is history. And then Madden got staled, and they got him out of there. Ron, from my perspective, and I'll be quick so the other guys can jump in. I mean, who knows? It all depends on whether he's happy with Marmol, if he's disappointed in Marmol. It obviously depends what the state of the team is, if they truly are ready to win. It depends on how much ownership puts into the payroll to make that happen. And it depends on what manager is available. You know, in Madden's case, he was perfect for what the Cubs needed at the time. Is that guy going to be out there for Chaim Bloom when the Cardinals are on the cusp of winning and he has his reviews of his manager, Oli Marmol, are disappointing? There's just too many hypotheticals there.
Yeah, I'm with Bernie. I don't know. I just don't know. And I would hope that you would give the guy who took you through hell to get somewhere good. I would hope that you'd stick with them, but there's no guarantee of that. It's tough business.
Let me ask it this way, because I would be more than comfortable. Let's say the rebuild's done right now. It's over now. They've got the team the way they want it. We're entering the season. We know they're supposed to be good. People are talking about them as division favorite or whatever. I would be more than comfortable if they allowed him to stay on. Would you guys be comfortable with that?
Yes.
If he's successful, yeah.
Yeah.
That is with Bernie Mickelson, Matt Pauley, Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. It is the Gashouse Gang. We have Matt coming to you from Orlando at the winter meetings. We're going to get back to him, and we're going to ask him what other teams are saying about the Cardinals situation. Not only are we going through this for the first time, but other teams are seeing the Cardinals go through this for the first time. It's an interesting situation and moment for this franchise in its history. But first, Chris, tell us about a new first, which is that gambling on sports is legal in Missouri, and FanDuel's part of it.
Yeah, it happened December 1st, in fact. And Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, where you been? Because a little over a week ago, it did become a thing in the state of Missouri. FanDuel Sportsbook is rolling here in the Show Me State and kicking things off with an offer that is tough to beat. So right now, new customers can bet $5 on FanDuel and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whatever it is you're betting on, if it's football, and we're right there in the middle of the season, both college and professional, basketball, hockey, bet it on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. You can download the FanDuel app now with your Google Play app or the App Store, or you can go to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement, because it has been a fun week or so since it's been live in the state of Missouri. It is time to play your game with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the 100 years of KMOX.
Live from Forest Park.
There, when we took it to the streets.
We're standing in the Lindell Pavilion across from the Jefferson Memorial in Forest Park, where the Jack Carney Parade is passing in review.
Now we take you to Don Miller. Don is flying around in the KMOX jet copter. He has an overview of the entire parade.
Okay, Mike, and I just wish that everyone could have our panoramic view of this spectacle.
And that'll wrap it up from the reviewing stand in the Jack Carney. It's great to be an American. It's great to be a St. Louisan, and nobody asked me to be in a parade before. Parade. I'm Bob Costas.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com.
It's not too late. The Polar Express is here through December 30th. Begin your journey at St. Louis Union Station Train Park, where you will meet the conductor inviting you to board the Polar Express train ride. Meet Santa Claus and his elves, interact with the Polar Express characters, and see St. Louis from 200 feet up and feel the magic of the Christmas story everybody loves. The Polar Express at Union Station. Book your trip at stlpolarexpressride.com. All aboard the Polar Express.
This is Todd Krentz with Krentz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we have helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Selling your business is a major milestone. Before and after the sale, our role is to help cut through complexity and create a clear financial strategy focused on your legacy. We often coordinate with your attorney and CPA to ensure everything is aligned so your plan not only fits today, but continues working for you in the future. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Servicing. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is Mayor Kara Spencer. Congratulations, KMOX, on 100 years of great service to the St. Louis region.
He's been clear about that, and he stated it well when he said we're not conceding anything in the immediate, but we will make decisions that impact the future more so than just right now. I think Chaim's communicated it extremely well, that there's a sense of urgency to all of this, and the better we are at our jobs, the quicker we turn this thing around.
Ollie Marmol and the Cardinals embarking on 2026. They are at baseball's winter meeting. So is Matt Pauley, who joins us live on the Gashouse Gang with Bernie Miklasz and Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's go back to Pauley in Orlando. Matt, what are people saying about the Cardinals? And I don't mean just media, but I'm sure there's a bit of a buzz about the man they have in place in Chaim Bloom and the situation that they're in. What are you hearing about this club, the Cardinals, with regard to 2026 and what they're trying to accomplish?
I think most of the conversations I've actually had with people about the Cardinals when people come up to me is they're asking about players who maybe from a media standpoint, the team that they're – yesterday, for example, I was having a talk with the John Boy guys, and they were asking me about Wilson Contreras and how he could play over at first base because they see a possibility where maybe the Yankees could make a move for Contreras. So that's been the first thing. And there's kind of multiple facets to your question, Tom. Everybody to a man is really excited for Chaim Bloom and – excited for him to get a legit opportunity because people understand what happened in Boston and even what's happened in Boston since he left, where the fruits of the labor because of all the work he did started to flourish. I mean, I think a lot of people have felt bad for Chaim that he got such a raw deal there and that he got pushed out way before he should have. And there's people really like him. I've yet to meet somebody who does not like Chaim Bloom. He's just a nice guy. He's a stand-up guy, and I get the sense that the industry is looking forward to him being able to have a legit opportunity to build this thing up in St. Louis and be given the opportunity to stick around long enough to see how it all works out.
Boy, you make a good point about the Yankees, though, and I've been looking at that as well. They sort of have a habit of bringing in first basemen who are in their 30s. Paul Goldschmidt, before that, Anthony Rizzo. I think that's a strong possibility myself, and I've not heard that firsthand or secondhand, but I'm thinking about it now. I think the Yankees may well go after Wilson Contreras. Bernie, what do you think about the next move here for the Cardinals? What do you think is, I mean, I'm not asking you to predict it, but what would be the most logical thing that the Cardinals do next if they're trying to make a move?
I think if Chaim Bloom gets the offer that he wants, and he definitely has got an idea of what he wants, if he gets that from a team, Brendan Donovan would be the first to go. Only because he's by all indications and reports, he is the most coveted Cardinal right now. So Chaim Bloom's not going to fool around. You know, and Chaim Bloom is cognizant of the fact that the number one criticism of him when he was running the Boston Red Sox, the first time he ever ran a Major League Baseball operation, that he had a hard time making up his mind, that he was hesitant, that he was tentative, that he maybe lacked confidence. I think he learned from that. So I think if the right thing lands in his email box or whatever, he'll say, boom, done, let's go. You know, and so I would bet on Donovan simply because there's so many teams after him, and I think a good offer will come out of that. A lot of good offers, but one that will catch Chaim Bloom's attention. I agree with what you guys are saying about Contreras. There's a lot of teams that could use a right-handed hitting first baseman. The San Diego Padres being another one. There's a lot of teams, and Contreras has been one of the best right-handed hitters in baseball over the last 3 years, and that's not an opinion. That's statistically a fact.
I mean, I would bet that Romero probably goes first. Seems to be easier to trade relievers just because you're not necessarily talking about huge returns. So that might be the easiest deal for them to make happen. But, I mean, clearly they would like to move Arenado before they do anything else. If it was priority one, if they can make that happen first and be done with that and then be able to move on to other pressing issues, I think they do it. But they're going to have a difficult time, because I don't know what the market is for him. There are probably a couple of other third basemen out there that would be more attractive first, so he might be the one sitting there the longest. And I think if we get into later January and he's still here, maybe he's still on the team. Maybe he's still on the 26-man roster for next year.
You know, Chaim addressed that yesterday in our meeting and said, we're going to do everything we can to trade him. We feel confident. This is a paraphrase, but basically the idea was that they feel like they can trade him, but they're not going to DFA him. They're not just going to let him go. They're not going to buy out a contract. They're not going to do any of those things. And if it ends up to being that they don't make a move, well, then he's a Cardinal. I don't think anybody expects that to happen, but that was kind of the statement from Chaim yesterday.
Matt, let me go back to you, and then we'll go around the horn to Bernie on this one. But Ryan says, why aren't they discussing moving Walker and Gorman more heavily? Walker has the talents a lot of teams feel they can fix. Gorman has the power to be interesting to a lot of teams. We have a log jam with JJ and Baez, referring to Joshua Baez, who can play in the outfield, certainly. Those two can be replaced quickly. Is there any talk about Gorman or Walker right now?
There seems to be a little bit of interest in Gorman. I have heard nothing on Walker, and there shouldn't be anything on Walker because it would be the ultimate sell low on a guy who's got the potential to turn into something special. I mean, he's been one of the single worst hitters walking the face of the earth playing Major League Baseball over the last couple years, and he has all the underlying numbers that shows that this guy can be an all-star. Nobody's going to trade for him and give you all-star caliber type return, so that shouldn't even be a consideration. That just nobody's going to give you what you should get for Walker, and if he never turns into that, then you take it as an L. But the Gorman thing, I think Gorman could get traded. At the same time, I think the club would be intrigued by a guy with that much power finally being given that everyday opportunity at third base. I was really disappointed with how Gorman hit last year when he was given the everyday opportunity. The numbers weren't there. So I don't preclude the idea of them getting a deal for Gorman, but I also don't think it's one of the more possible ones.
Gorman last year, it was a season of extremes because he's an extreme hitter. Got off to a slow start, but for about 2.5, close to 3 months, he was basically their second best hitter. He was really, really good. Then he went over the cliff again, and that's been the Nolan Gorman story. But here's my question, and this is something that I've repeated a lot with Walker and Gorman. Why would you want? Listen, when you have an offense that is just so lacking, and you don't know where the power is going to come from, where's the upside? You not only have a new baseball chief operating officer in place, he hired a bunch of people who, among their many talents, is that they can diagnose a hitter's problem or a pitcher's problem, and they're more capable of coming up with really good ideas to fix those players. Why in the world would you trade low on Walker or Gorman before you give the new regime, Chaim Bloom and all the smart people he's brought in, before you give them a chance to see what they can do for Walker and Gorman? Why would you do that? They're in a rebuild, nothing's on the line next year. Give the regime a chance to fix these guys.
There's just no chance. I don't see either one of them going anywhere, and it's mainly because there's no incentive for the Cardinals to trade them unless they're part of a package that nets them something else. There's very little value for the two of them. And Lauren might be right. I believe it was Lauren who asked that question. I'm not exactly sure who it was, but it was a Facebook question we got on the stream. They might be right. There are teams who look at those two players and say, yeah, we could probably extract something more out of them that the Cardinals haven't been able to, but they're still not giving you anything for them. You're not going to get much in return for either one of those guys right now. So I don't see a deal happening at all, and there's no incentive for the Cardinals to do that.
And Ryan, to complete the opinions on this, I agree with my colleagues. Walker, not a chance am I trading him. This is a business, and you cannot trade an asset that is not worth anything. You're not going to get anything back in return. You got to build it back up for it to be tradable. For Gorman, I see a little more value in him. I'd be concerned that he'd go somewhere and unlock it and bash 40 home runs, and you're going to be kicking yourself. You've got to be able to see what by the way, Nolan Gorman can field his position. He's pretty versatile. He can play second base and third base, and he can, if you can figure out how to get him going, he can hit for a ton of power. And Walker, by the way, is not, garbage. He does have a tremendous velocity on his bat. He has tremendous exit velocity on his bat. He's a great kid. There's nothing wrong with him, but he is running out of time here. He's got to show them what he can do, and they're going to let him. They're going to let him show what he can do under Chaim Bloom's technology and coaching and coordination in 2026, and then you can start talking about it. This is a process, but it's not like they're going to just make trades this offseason, then they're done. They will be looking to move and shake here over the next 2 years. And those two will be part of those conversations, I think, for a little bit of a while. Matt, anything else on the table today that you want to discuss? I know the Rule 5 draft is something that's getting some buzz, and tomorrow we'll find out if John Rooney's a Ford Frick Award winner.
Yeah, and draft lottery today. Cardinals have a 2.35% chance. That's right, 2.35% chance of the number one pick.
Yep, that's it.
They are not eligible for a top 7 pick next year, top 10. So actually, if they're not going to have a good season this year, it might actually be better for them not to be in the lottery this year and see what happens for next year, just trying to get as many top picks as possible. But all that being said, that's going on today. Last thing for you, just something that Chaim Bloom said last night that I thought was really notable. He said everybody in this organization needs to be working every day to make this team better, and you never know what small move might make things better. And he kind of gave the idea that, maybe a scout has an idea or a scout sees somebody one day, and all of a sudden 3-4 years down the line, that player's making an impact at the major league level. There seems to be this attitude in this organization right now that everybody's pulling in the same direction, everybody has impact, and if everybody's working to make the organization better every day, well, better may not be tomorrow, but what you do today might make the team better years down the line, and that's something that brings benefit to it.
Matt, we appreciate the info from the winter meetings. We'll catch up with you during Rush Hour Sports and Sports Open Line tonight on KMOX. Have a great day.
All right, sounds great, guys.
All right, first, before we get back into the show, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. I want to talk about trades, trading in your car for a Genesis. Genesis of St. Charles is ready for that. They can do that for you. They'll give you more value for your trade. You want to talk about value for trades. You trade in your car to Genesis of St. Charles, they're going to take great care of you. And you may never set foot in their service center. That would be a shame. I think you should take full advantage of all the luxury that they have there while your car is being serviced. But if you have a Genesis, they have something called Genesis Service Valet at Genesis of St. Charles, complimentary for 3 years or 36,000 miles. They will perform a remote diagnostic check, pick up your vehicle, send a courtesy replacement, and return your Genesis when it's ready. You can just have it done from your home. That's the Genesis experience. Attention to detail. They will have a meticulously handcrafted finance package ready for you, competitive with anybody else, just like their great cars. And oh, their cars. They are loaded with them at Genesis of St. Charles. 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. That is Genesis of St. Charles, right off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. Unlike the E-Price at genesisofstcharles.com.
Major League Baseball's winter meetings are underway in Orlando, and all eyes are on Chaim Bloom with expectations he'll be busy.
I do think it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. Now, we don't have anything up our sleeves right now that's about to drop. I think you'll see things escalating as we get closer to the winter meetings.
KMOX will be reporting live from the winter meetings. Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne will bring you exclusive reports with updates, access, and breaking news you won't hear anywhere else. Your home for St. Louis Cardinals coverage. KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
51 degrees and sunny in St. Louis. We're going to have a high today of 53. The weather is brought to you by 4 Pretty Paws Mobile Pet Spa. We come to you, 4prettypaws.com. Since 2018, 4 Pretty Paws Mobile Pet Spa has provided stress-free, one-on-one grooming right at your doorstep. Convenient, personal, and trusted. Book your holiday appointment at 4prettypaws.com. Now serving Southern Illinois.
Hey guys, Glover here. You guys have heard me talk about my volunteering with Bethesda Hospice, but there's so much more Bethesda offers older adults. For a South County retirement community, for example, you can't do better than Bethesda Terrace. Residents and families love the gorgeous backyard with its patios and water features, exceptional dining, pet-friendly, plenty of activities, and frequent happy hours. Bethesda Terrace is the perfect location for your retirement years. In fact, residents often say they wish they'd moved in sooner. Learn more about Bethesda Terrace at BethesdaHealth.org/Glover.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Here's another satisfied customer of 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, Anita Bennett.
When I first heard about 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, I thought, there's no way they could do a good job in 3 days, and they must carry only the plain Jane basics in cabinets, countertops, and flooring. Then they came to our house and we found out they offered top quality materials with tons of choices and lots of custom options.
Draws, a safe and secure app and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KMOX. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Hello, I'm John Rooney. Congratulations to KMOX on 100 years strong, truly making KMOX the voice of St. Louis.
Welcome back to the Gashouse Gang with Chris Ranji, Bernie Miklas. I'm Tom Ackerman. Our producers are Matt Bajeski and Frank Ladd, the voice of John Rooney right there. He won the Jack Buck Award last night at the Jack Buck Sports Awards for his dedication to St. Louis sports, and we appreciate him. Not many broadcasters have won that. I only counted a couple. Jay Randolph, Kelly Chase. So wonderful job by John Rooney and a great speech last night. Fly Navy 73 is the handle here. This is the only reason I'm going to treat this with the highest of respect is because it says Fly Navy 73. But saying that Matt and Tom, mentioning me, that I highlighted Walker's strengths while totally ignoring twice as many weaknesses. Are you out of your mind? Let me invite you to Walgreens, buy some Q-tips so you can clean out your ears.
Don't
let me say
put Q-tips in your ears.
Let me say it a little
It's bad.
more clearly. How many times? What did we just say? Did Matt not just say that he was one of the worst hitters on the planet? What else do you need to know? Did I not just say that he had zero value? I mean, come on, enough already.
Tom, why do you and Matt Pauly keep carrying water for Jordan Walker?
Why do people have selective hearing? But thank you for your service. I'm assuming Fly Navy 73.
And do not listen to Tom. Do not put Q-tips in your ears. It's bad for you.
Okay, you're just completely ignoring my point and what I was trying to say. Go ahead.
Can I throw something in? Ackerman's going to get mad at me.
Oh, yeah, good.
No, the one, you know what the most disappointing part of Jordan Walker to me, and I'm someone who's rooting for his success, trust me. The most disappointing thing is that he has been resistant to coaching. You know, there's people like Brent Brown who work really, really hard with him, and they're trying to get him on the right track. They're trying to school him. They're very patient. They're very supportive. And as Brent Brown said on this very show last season, you know, they want to see him, and Ollie said they want to see more buy-in. They want to see more urgency from him. And I don't understand. I think he's a good person. I do. I don't understand what someone who is drowning at the major league level seems to be so cavalier about coaching and listening to coaching and implementing coaching.
Yeah,
Ollie Marmol talked about this, and I talked to Chaim Bloom about this separately. Walker is busting his tail this offseason, so that's a good sign. Maybe he's finally figured it out. Coaches are there to help you, so let them help you.
No, don't you dare say something nice about Jordan Walker. That will be magnified in that we were propping up Jordan Walker. Did we not do a whole show on this, as you just said? We had Brant Brown and Ollie Marmol. The show got published all over the country, and all we did was rip Jordan Walker the whole time. And did I not just say that Jordan Walker, that he's running out of time? That this is the last year that you can observe what he's got, and
Guys,
then you make the move?
I don't know, man. I've been sitting here listening to your sunshine and rainbows every time we talk about Jordan Walker.
It's so stupid.
I'm getting real sick of it. I wish you'd be honest.
It's stupid.
And here's the thing about Walker, and this isn't a defense of him because you got to give it up. The idea of being really good at the thing you do. So he was a baseball player, right? His entire life. He's probably been better than everybody else on the field, just like every other major leaguer, with a few exceptions here and there. Some guys really had to prove themselves in high school and in college or whatever. But most of these guys were better than everybody else they ever played against. I'm assuming that it is difficult if you've done a thing a certain way your entire life and gotten positive results. It takes a long time to break yourself of that. And even if it's not working in the moment, that maybe you just psychologically have a tough time completely adjusting and altering the way you do things. That said, you need to alter the way you do things if it's not working here, because this is the end of the line.
All right, let me jump back in here. Jordan Walker was drafted out of high school. He was taken out of Georgia. He was supposed to wanted to go to Duke University, decided to pull back and go into the Cardinals minor league system. This is also an indictment of the Cardinals system and why they've changed it. You can't bring in a first rounder and expect him to suddenly be great. And by the way, you're teaching him a position that he doesn't play, and you don't have enough outfield coaches to coach him, and you just suddenly put him into the major leagues and he's supposed to be a star. I mean, this system is totally being redone now. Thank goodness that you draft a guy and you develop him, and when he comes to the major leagues, he becomes a major league player that can help you win. You don't bring the guy up and teach him at this level. That's not how it's supposed to go.
You know, Tom and Tad, to your point, and Jordan Walker hits the ball tremendously hard. I mean, he has got great bat speed, hard hit rate, everything, right? But when you have a big man with that kind of strength and power who can hit the ball hard, it makes all the sense in the world to coach him and work with him to elevate the baseball. I've heard Cardinals fans and other media say, well, if he hits the ball hard and he gets a lot of singles, that's okay. No, actually, it's not.
No, it isn't.
Because you're not tapping into his full potential. He's got the potential to be a monster at the plate. And my criticism is the Cardinals knew in the minor leagues it was ground ball, ground ball, ground ball, ground ball. They knew that. Why did they elevate him to the majors so soon? And I know he got off to a good start and all that, but that's really not the point. Because at some point the ground balls are going to find gloves, and then he's not going to reach his full potential. He's got to get the ball in the air. And that is hardly some kind of nerd, esoteric, these fancy pants, with all their crazy stats. No, this is actually basic baseball. Strong guy, live bat, massive strength, hit ball in air, ball go far.
And
it's pretty simple.
And there is one other thing to keep in mind, which is easy for us to forget because we've been talking about him for so long. This dude is not going to even turn 24 until they're 2 months into this next season. He's still young. He's still very young. And even though he does have a decent amount of at-bats, there's still a lot of room for growth, and there is a lot of time for him. Hell, he's not even a free agent for another, 5 years. So this is somebody the Cardinals can have for a long time and work with. And if all of these changes they've been making at the structural level are good changes and they are headed in the right direction, then I think he deserves a little bit more time here instead of giving up on him right away.
I agree. And, not everybody's going to come along and be Ronald Acuna. I mean, there are some
Juan Soto. That
there's
just doesn't
some
happen.
freaks out there.
Yeah.
At a young age, the Cardinals have to develop these guys, and they have to develop a lot of them. They have to acquire them. I'm not jonesing for moves today necessarily, but I do want to see some significant roster turnover and a collection of prospects here over the next month or so that they can build this thing back, and we never have to go through this conversation again. The next conversation that we have is that everybody wants your players. And everybody says, how did the Cardinals do this again? Here they go again with their farm system is the best in baseball. That's the goal. And then you have all these great players, and the conversation becomes now, where are they going in the future with all of these superstars, and how are they going to keep them all? That's what I want to get into. I'd rather have that conversation. Bernie, let's hear about the great.
By the way, you got to do me one favor.
What's
first,
that? What's that?
You had a beef with Flying Navy 73. I get that, right?
Yeah.
Can I at least get a Go Navy beat Army from you this week? Because that game's coming up.
Let me tease that next segment we're going to get into a little bit of football, and I want to know about this Army-Navy game. And by the way, the same day is the Heisman Trophy selection, and I just saw a piece that I think it was Stuart Mandel, who I really like, said it's going to be a close one between Mendoza and Pavia. What is he talking about? I'll explain when we come back. But first, Bernie, tell us about Saliga Heating and Cooling.
It'd be my privilege. Saliga Heating and Cooling's been taking care of the Micklases for 18 years. And I almost feel silly saying that because Saliga Heating and Cooling, the same family, 4 generations, been taking care of St. Louis family since 1927. This is like 100 years, basically, we're talking about. And they're still going strong. They're still getting more and more families calling them because their reputation is so great. Their track record is so great. And the track record is measured on integrity and professionalism and whether you know your stuff, you're smart about heating and cooling, the classiness you display when you go into a home, working with people, explaining everything carefully, answering all the questions, and always looking for the least expensive solutions first, and instead of trying to upsell you, talk you into something, try to twist your arm. No. Total class and professionalism and knowledge. That's what you get from Saliga Heating and Cooling, and it's been that way since 1927. One more quick thing. They have a maintenance plan called the Priority Club. We are members of that and have been for quite a while. And we have saved money because the maintenance, which is no big deal, a couple times a year, they come to your home. It extends the life of your current equipment, which obviously will save you money. So if you want more info on Saliga, including the phone number, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. Ski Team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
The holidays are here, filled with laughter, family, and memories. But if you're missing the punchline, the conversation, or even the music, it might be time to check your hearing. Hi, I'm Charlie Brennan.
I'm Dr. Bosler with the Audiology Center.
And I'm Dr. Voss. This season, we want you to hear every moment.
Hearing aids today can process sound faster than before. They're smarter at separating the speech from the background noise, meaning that when you're at the holiday parties this season, you'll hear the voices that you want to hear, clearer than before.
So don't wait until the new year. Give yourself the gift of better hearing today and reconnect with the people and the moments that matter most.
Call the Audiology Center, 636-441-7470. Or online, theaudiologycenterstl.com. 3 convenient locations.
Call us today and make this holiday season better than last year's. Here for the holidays, here for life.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We're back. There's a question from 87-1 Homer.
Watching on YouTube.
On YouTube. Is there an example of a young player who's performed as poorly as Walker and dramatically turned it around? Mitchell, who does a nice job, I think, on our commentary, tried to say Joe Adell of the Angels was pretty stinky, and then he turned it around, hit almost 40 home runs. That's not bad. It's not a bad example right there, Bern.
I have to do some research. I'd be happy to answer that, but I can't do it off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
you know me, Mr. Numbers. I'll get to the bottom of that.
That sounds like a column to me. Not that, we're not saying that Walker is going to do it. We're just questioning, like, has there been a number one pick, a first-round pick who has been that poor and then suddenly, boom, turned into a big deal? I think it has to be not just a young player. I think it has to be defined as a first-round pick.
And there's also a huge difference between a kid drafted out of high school and a kid that's maybe played 3 years of college baseball too. They're going to have different growth patterns. So, but I'll look into it. I will.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are some examples. I just have to find them.
Army Navy, how do you see that one panning out? I've been to it a couple of times myself. I will encourage people that it is the top 5 have to attend sporting event in your life. I will vouch for that.
I've been to about 4 or 5 of them, but not for a while. If you don't mind me throwing in something personal, the first sporting event I ever went to, and I was a little fella, I was 4 years old, almost 5, and was to watch a Navy game in Annapolis, which was like 15 minutes from our house. And saw the team that was quarterbacked by the Heisman Trophy winner that year, Roger Staubach. First sporting event ever that I saw. Staubach quarterbacking Navy. So that's a special memory. But anyway, Navy's got the better all-around team this year than Army. You never can sleep on Army. Jeff Monken's a great, great coach. But Blake Horvath just shredded Army last year with his passing and his running. Navy's got a much more sophisticated, versatile, all-around offense this year, and they're really, really good. So I would be surprised if the midshipmen lost. And by the way, I'm not cocky, even though I'm a Navy fan. You can never underestimate the other side.
My story that I've been to 2 Army-Navy games, and the one that stands out to me was actually, even though I'm a Navy fan, and we were friends and have been with Jack Lingle, who's the athletic director at Missouri and then at Navy, was actually taking Ron Holtman, the late Ron Holtman, the coach at Country Day, to the Army-Navy game in New York to see Mike Mayweather in his last Army-Navy game, running back for Army, who was breaking rushing records at Army and played at Country Day. And we took him up there, and to see Coach Holtman watching that game and see the emotion in his face and the pride that he had in not only our country, but in his player, Mike Mayweather, was one of the most special things that will stay with me the rest of my life. So it was an incredible time for me. I was wrong. It was not Stuart Mandel. He was the one who tweeted the link. It's Mitch Sherman of The Athletic who said that they did a straw poll of writers and editors, and Fernando Mendoza edged Diego Pavia by 3 points for the Heisman Trophy. I'm sorry. I know I'm wearing Indiana glasses here, but I had come to the conclusion that Mendoza was pretty much a slam dunk here. I mean, did they poll Nashville media? I don't understand.
Listen, I'm a fan of The Athletic and have supported it from day one, and I actually worked for The Athletic for a year and a half. Love it. But I'm always very skeptical of their straw polls because their straw polls consist only of athletic writers. And they all have their own ideas. And I hate to say this, but this kind of runs through our profession. There's a lot of smartest guy in the room stuff going on over at The Athletic. Everyone's got to show, no, it can't be Mendoza. And I'm smart enough to know that. It's got to be somebody else. There's a lot of that crap. So, yeah, I wouldn't pay attention to the straw poll. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong.
Guys, let me just say this one thing, which has nothing to do with what you guys are talking about. How are we going to get through an entire show and not mention the fact Phillip Rivers just signed with the Colts?
I love it.
And he's 44.
I know. I love it.
They signed him today.
It's a beautiful thing for us
it's amazing.
middle-aged men.
He's a grandpa. He's literally a grandfather.
Joe Flacco, yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
Awesome.
We're sponsored. Bernie's visit sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer. Bernie, appreciate you, buddy. Have a great rest of your day. Ranj, have a beautiful day. Matt Pajeski, Frank Ladd, Matt Pauley, everybody for contributing to the Gas House Gang. The show's only an hour. It flies by, but, man, it packs a punch. We really appreciate your listenership and viewership. I cannot thank you folks enough for making this such a great show. It's only going to get better as we get closer to the start of the season. Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer. Bernie Miklasz, thanks for being with us.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you. See you later.